Cecilia was the second-born child in the family, which meant she had two very important responsibilities. One, to know her place, and two, to make sure everyone else knew theirs. Unfortunately, her two brothers had not agreed to these arrangements. There was Caleb, the firstborn, and Calvin, the youngest. And somewhere in the middle, there was Cecilia, the only girl, the middle child, the only person who had to deal with both of them. Caleb was already in senior secondary school, which made him very important in the eyes of his younger siblings. At least, that's what Caleb believed. Caleb was the family expert. If Cecilia got stuck on homework, Caleb was called. If something needed explaining, there was Caleb. Sometimes, he understood immediately. Other times, he needed a moment. Even the family genius occasionally needed to negotiate with a difficult question. But Caleb was patient. He would explain once, twice, or 3 times. Occasionally, he realized Cecilia had understood perfectly well. She just didn't understand him. That was the thing about siblings. They could argue in the morning and sit together in the evening. They were a team when it mattered. Then there was Calvin, the youngest. Being the youngest came with its own advantages. He was still in lower primary school, asking endless questions. Calvin had not yet discovered that some questions were better left unanswered, especially when the answer was clearly, "Because I said so." The 3 children were all-day scholars. Every morning they left home for school. 3 children, 3 schools, 3 different levels of education. But every afternoon, they came back home. School uniforms were removed. Books were opened. And the peaceful afternoon was over. Cecilia helped Calvin with his schoolwork. She probably did more teaching than she realized. Calvin would ask, "But why?" until Cecilia needed a deep breath. But there were moments when Cecilia needed help too. Caleb would come over, look at the problem, and Cecilia would wait for the answer. The siblings were fond of their parents. They saw Catherine and Peter working hard around the home and on the farm, doing everything for them, so the children helped where they could. They looked after Calvin and did what was expected. It wasn't perfect, but they were growing together. Then came the weekends. No rushing to school, no teachers, and no bells. Except for their parents, who could create a school bell themselves. On weekends, the family gathered around their small television. It wasn't fancy, but to the children, it was enough. Until the problem began. Caleb wanted one program. Cecilia wanted another. Calvin wanted something else. One television, 3 opinions. This was not entertainment. This was diplomacy. Sometimes they laughed, sometimes they argued. But those ordinary weekends became part of their childhood. Simple things, but important things. Sundays were for worship. The whole family, Catherine, Peter, Caleb, Cecilia, and Calvin, prepared and left together. A miracle of timing. Getting 3 children ready at the same time is no small achievement. One is looking for a shoe, another cannot find clothes. Cecilia loved those Sundays. There was something comforting about being together. The same family, the same home, the same journey. But they were not always angels. They teased each other and disagreed. Cecilia wanted Caleb to stop being the boss. Calvin never sat quietly. Cecilia's world felt complete. She had family, her friend Alexa, school, and football. She didn't know how much life would change soon. Childhood moves on. Caleb and Calvin were growing, and Cecilia was nearing the end of primary school. Questions about her future were becoming bigger. For now, she was just Cecilia, a daughter, sister, and friend. But the days ahead were going to be different. Subscribe and stay tuned for episode 8.